case number 2210869 DM Llewellyn versus Dupala. Today's date is May 12th, 2023. This is date and time set for a resumption of our hearing. It's day 3. I'll just go around the Zoom boxes as you appear to me. I'll state your name. Please state your names for the record. Ms. Whitman.
Melissa Whitman here for Aishwarya Nukala.
Ms. Belden.
Megan Belden here on behalf of Andrew Llewellyn.
Ms. Nukala.
Aishwarya Nukala.
And Mr. Llewellyn.
Andrew Llewellyn.
Thank you. My notes suggest that we are still on cross-examination of Ms. Nukala. It's been several days, maybe a month since April 11th. So I'm just going to swear you in again, ma'am. I mean, I think technically you're probably still under oath, but I'll swear you in for our record. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Belden.
Good morning, Aishwarya.
Morning.
I think when we last abruptly ended, we were at the point where we were talking about August 2022, when you and the children had made it out to Pasadena, correct? And you made it there, and then you decided to change your plans and leave early, correct?
I did not leave early.
Okay. Let's see. So you left to fly out to Pasadena on August 9th, is that correct?
Yes.
And originally you were going to stay to be there for the first day of school for Josephine, correct?
Not correct.
Okay. I'm gonna pull one thing up just a moment here. Okay, I'm gonna hit share screen. Ishwarya, do you recognize these are some, do you recognize that? Is there a, I'm sorry, it's a sideways view. Is there, oh, maybe I can flip it. Can I rotate? It doesn't want me to. Okay, this is a pain. I'm gonna just see, it says that it's an email. I don't want to make you all dizzy here, but do you see it says Ishwarya Nukala? Is that your email address up here?
Yes, that is an email exchange between us.
Okay, and it's dated August 11th, 2022. Is that correct?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
That email, it looks like you're saying you agreed to move to LA for the school year. You signed all of the legal documentation to do that. You know in your heart that that's not the right move. Is that correct?
I can confirm that I wrote this email. Yes.
Okay, and you're saying, so I'm unable to participate in any of the events. So then it goes on, I think Andrew responded saying, if you'd like to have a conversation about this, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, I don't know what to say right now. And this was August 11th, correct? And then it looks like you responded with the deed is done, you won. And I really am not going to be able to talk with you about this in any reasonable way, anytime for the foreseeable future. Anyone who knows the reality of what's going on will tell you that this is obviously a bad situation for our kids. I am trying to change my flight so I can leave tomorrow. I'll let you know if I'm able to do so. So you did change your flight to leave early, is that correct?
I did not. And I didn't leave until August 14th. And I left at 11:10 p.m. I have the flight receipt and I'd be happy to share that. I left on a red eye on Sunday, August 14th. Andrew drove me to the airport. I had said that I wanted to leave earlier in this email because of his behavior, which we've already covered multiple times.
Okay. And
I didn't, sorry.
I'm sorry. So Your Honor, I know this is hard to manage, but I'm showing that this is my exhibit C42 or C41 part 2. It looks like it is page 5. Page 5 of 26 pages. I'm going to go to the next page, which is page 6. I would like to have page 5 of exhibit C41 admitted.
No objection.
Thank you.
Admitted.
Okay, so then if I go to the next page, again, Ishwarya, do you see your name at the top? Do you recognize this is a text exchange between you and Andrew?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would ask for page 6 of exhibit C41 part 2 to be admitted.
Do we have a date on this?
Is there a date at the? I know it's the same time frame of August. I think I have that as August 11th of 2022. But we're back to, I see, Ishwarya, can you, I think maybe this will help document it. Can you read this text? This was the text from you to Andrew, because Andrew wrote at the top, Ishwarya.
Okay.
Okay,
Where
thank
would you like me to begin?
You can read it to yourself before we get it. It hasn't been admitted yet, so
Oh, sorry.
you can read it to yourself to refresh your memory. But
yeah, please.
I kind of understood Ms. Whitman's question about the date to be. I could characterize that as an objection. So
Yeah, I get it.
It hasn't been, thank you.
Let me see if
I read it.
okay, let me see if I go. We don't have an exact date listed on this, but do you remember the context of this email, Aishwarya, or this text, Aishwarya?
That weekend was, I don't remember what happened on which day that weekend of August 12th, 13th, 14th. Monday, August 15th is Josephine's first day of high school. And I had an important client meeting that morning that I had to get to. And so I ended up leaving on the evening of the 14th on a red eye. I have the flight receipt and I landed in Detroit, transferred to a flight on Traverse City on Monday. The 15th was Josephine's first day of school. And I arrived in Traverse City, I think 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. After flying on a red eye, and I drove straight to work for the entire day. And my friend Molly was visiting town. So after work, I went home and I rested. And then I spent a few days with her in Leland.
Okay, so you remember the time frame. This is all around the time frame of when you were in Pasadena and you returned back to Leland, correct?
Yes, for work.
Okay, so I would ask that this be admitted. It's text exchanges from the weekend of August 11th, 12th.
I have no objection. That's fine.
Submitted, thank you.
Thank you. Ishwarya, now that this has been admitted, would you mind reading the second kind of paragraph in your text to Andrew?
I don't know if loving someone is a problem, but I understand what you are saying. I'm sorry for everything and I'm sorry for your pain, truly. This might be too much for you, but would it be okay if I came back here earlier than the 16th? I really want to come home already and I haven't even left. I think Molly okay, sorry. I think Molly will be here on the 11th or 12th, and I'm dying to see her. I don't know if that works with the kids or in an Airbnb. Can we just think about it? So I can, in terms of the date, can I speak to that, or do you want to ask me about it?
Well, so I guess what I want to ask you is that you're saying in this email, in this text exchange, you are asking to come home earlier or to leave Pasadena earlier than the 16th, correct?
This exchange was, I don't have a date for it, but this exchange was when I was purchasing my ticket.
Okay,
Prior to leaving on August 9th. And I needed to, I clearly don't say that here, but I had been at home in Leland with the kids for a month. We had COVID. And I needed to get back because I had an important client meeting on the 15th. And so when I asked him, this might be too much for you, but would it be okay if I came back here earlier than the 16th?
okay,
I'm referring to making plans with him before I left with the kids and buying plane tickets.
okay. I appreciate you clarifying that. So so you originally discussed staying until the 16th, and then you asked if it would be okay if you came home earlier than what you guys had talked about previously. Is that correct?
I mean, I guess so. I remember that I needed to get back on the 15th and I was in a position where I had to be back for that morning because I met with a contractor for a project that was wrapping up. And I also needed to collect a payment so I could make a tuition payment.
Okay. Okay. Okay, then I have this as being a text exchange of August 13th. My notes show that this is a text exchange of August 13th. Aishwarya, again, would you recognize that this is a text exchange between you and Andrew? And I'll have you have a minute. Tell me when you want me to scroll to see the rest of this page.
I do remember this, yeah.
Okay. Would you agree that this was August 13th range?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was that weekend, yeah.
Okay. So can you read Andrew's email or text to you at the top there?
Sure.
It's hard, I know.
You need to enter it.
Oh, yeah, could we have page 7 of exhibit C 41 part 2 admitted, please?
No objection.
Admitted, thank you.
Andrew writes to me at the top, "Hi, I sent you some emails which you may be avoiding. I would like to say again that I'm sorry about everything and I'm open to making changes. I know you're feeling angry and miserable. I'd like to propose that we do something pleasant as a family today, like go to the Nickel Diner or Griffith Park. I think it would help and mean a lot to the kids." And I write back to him, "I'm not avoiding them. I just need some time and space away from the very real problems with you. I want to go home tomorrow and I will respond when I'm ready. I will say right now that I'm not going to revise the divorce agreement. The kids are going to be here with you after I leave tomorrow, and I have committed to paying $45,000 for tuition, plus the cost of a rental here, plus the cost of travel to see my kids, plus manage my work from a distance."
Okay, and then I'm sorry, I'm going to keep going on. It goes on it. So it says,
I can't give you, well, is that,
this, now we're going to page 8 of, I guess this, let me see how many, yeah, it's 2 pages. I'm sorry, page 7 and 8 of.
do those
C41.
correspond with each other? Because it says, there's a sentence there that says, "I'm not,"
I'm
and then it's
not,
cut off, and then it doesn't follow.
maybe it doesn't, but it's all listed as it's all listed as exhibit 10. Let me look here. Yeah, something got cut off. And that's fine. We can just do page 7. I'm fine with that. So my question is in this, if we go back to page 7, you're saying that you want to go home tomorrow, and this is a text from that weekend. So do you remember, did you, Andrew proposes that your family all hang out together. Did that happen?
Is this August 13th?
Yes.
I'm just going to object that if I understood it, we should enter the complete text. I'm
I'm
fine.
not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's fine. It's just, I saw Aishwarya and I both noticed that it cuts off here. It says "I'm not," and then that's not consistent with the next line.
I'd rather have it, even if it's missing a word or two.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. So, Your Honor, I would ask that pages 7 and 8 of C41 Part 2 be admitted.
No objection.
So admitted. So we're not gonna, I guess I don't understand. Are you gonna be pointing out the text that goes along with that, or are we don't need the "I'm not" part? The
We
continue.
don't need the "I'm not" there.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. So it says at this time that you're not avoiding the kids, but you wanted to go home tomorrow. Do you remember did you go to Griffith Park and Nickel Diner that day?
I say I'm not avoiding them, meaning his emails, which is what
Okay.
he was referring to. On this day, on August 13th, it was after the episode of the yelling and then pushing me out the door.
Okay.
So
Sorry, I'm just gonna keep, I guess what I'm trying to get to right now is you're saying after I leave tomorrow. So can we agree that you left on August 14th?
yes,
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I'm gonna try to be as brief as possible today. I know this is gonna be a new thing for me, but so Ashwarya, you left on August 14th. The first day of school for Josephine was August 15th, correct?
correct.
So you missed her first day of school.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, that's where I was going. Okay, thank you. Ashwarya, do you remember you and Andrew working together to get the kids enrolled in the schools in Pasadena in the months of May? Pretty much, it looks like it was kind of an intense May, if I'm looking at all your history with, getting the kids, getting Josephine. Well, you applied to several schools in Pasadena, but you both worked together on that to get her into LaSalle, correct?
Yes,
And then did you both work together to get Leo signed up for High Point?
yes,
And did you both work together to get Birdie into Oak Knoll, correct?
yes.
Okay. And it looks like it was quite a bit of work, well, at least a lot of email work. And Andrew went out and visited those schools with Josephine, is that correct? That spring you were in agreement and Andrew went out and took Josephine and toured the schools and sent you pictures of Josephine in Pasadena. Do you remember that?
Yes,
Okay. Shwaria, I've pulled up on the screen an email from Monday, May 23rd, 2022. Do you recognize this as an email coming from Andrew to you?
Yes,
Okay. And do you see that you are having a discussion about the house in Lake Leelanau?
yes.
Okay. So it looks like there's a discussion going on or an analysis or consideration about maintaining the house in Lake Leelanau while also being able to have be able to afford to live in Pasadena, correct?
Yes,
And he ends it with, does that make sense? And it looks like then you responded, so his email is at 11:37, you responded that same day at 11:51. Do you recognize this email that you sent him?
yes.
Okay, I see. Can you read us that first paragraph, please?
Yes. Do we need to enter it?
That would be great. Thank you, Aishwarya. So Your Honor and Melissa, I am asking that this be exhibit that page. Here we go. Let me look at my. This is page 47. Let's see if I go on. 47 and 48 of Exhibit D, Part 2, be admitted. And let me
No-
scroll. Oh,
No
go ahead.
objection.
Okay, thanks.
Admitted.
Thank you. So Aishwarya, can you read that first paragraph of that email to us there from you to Andrew?
Yes. Yes, I understand where you are coming from, and I don't want you to feel that I got the house and control the equity in it. I don't in any way want to limit your future. I have agreed to the Pasadena plan, not only for our kids and their future, but I'm also doing this for you. I know that your future is not in Michigan. I also know that there are financial realities around the move, and you will need to rent a house for the coming year. I am open to talking through the parenting schedule with a house in Pasadena. Do you want me to keep reading?
Yeah, that would be great.
I have a lot of work here that pays really well. I know that I could have something similar, if not better, in Los Angeles, but at the moment I am here and this is where my work is growing. I would like to talk about the house here, the money that is in the property here, and the parenting plan. I don't know that I've made this clear to you, but I will be commuting back and forth from LA to Leland through the end of this year at least. We can talk through this tomorrow. I'm committed to working out the task at hand.
Okay. Okay. So at that time, you and Andrew were getting along well. You were really considering everything and the realities of this move to Pasadena. Do you feel that's a correct statement?
Can you repeat your question?
I'm sorry. On May 23rd, or in May, you and Andrew were working well with each other to execute the plan of a move to Pasadena, and you were considering the financial ramifications of that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you would also state that at that time that you acknowledged that you agreed to the Pasadena plan, not only for your kids and their future, but also you were doing it for Andrew, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Aishwarya, do you recognize this email? It looks like from you to Andrew on May 25th.
Yes.
Is it safe to say that this is a home that you saw, that you were proposing to Andrew, that the two of you, that he could rent, or let's see what the word, I think you should rent this, we could split the cost, I'm not kidding. So you had found a place that you sent to him saying, hey, let's look at this. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I would ask to have page 49 and 50, so you get the gorgeous picture of Exhibit D, Part 2 admitted.
No objection.
Admitted.
Oh, I guess it goes on, but you don't need the next page. Well, okay, I guess I'm going to ask that page 51. I guess I would say 51 and 52. And 53. I'm sorry, I guess it just kept going on. Yeah, I'm sorry, through page 53 then. It's just their continued text. It gives more detail about the house and the realtor listing it. Any objections to that?
No.
Okay,
Admitted through 49 through 53 then.
perfect. Okay. So Ashwarya, you and Andrew, that the proposed consent judgment of divorce, I think you previously testified to this. You and Andrew signed that on June 17th. I believe it was kind of a momentous day of 2022 because that was your anniversary. It coincided to be on your wedding anniversary as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay. When did you start to have doubts about that?
Andrew moved or drove to California. He left Leland on July 9th. And I think it was around that time, I had a going away party for him with a lot of friends and in Leland. And I just started feeling like around that time that this was just going to be really logistically hard for me and for the kids. And Birdie was at the Children's Center for the summer. And I actually talked to the director there, Molly, about whether like, I said to her, like, I'm really worried about what's ahead of us. And when Andrew was driving to California, he was in Oklahoma I think it was maybe July 9th, or I'm sorry, July 11th, or maybe, I don't know, either the 10th, the 11th. And I called him and I said, I'm really having some major reservations about this plan. Can we try to think about what's going on? And he just was like, I think he was surprised. And then he called me back and he basically just was like, no way. You made an agreement, you signed an agreement, and there's no room for changing this. You have to get on a plane. And, you know, I was overwhelmed. I was at home with 3 kids and I needed to figure out a job in Pasadena, like a project. I had a huge project in Leland that was wrapping up and I was under a huge amount of pressure with work. And Andrew had just, had moved away. The divorce was, going on. And it was a really hard time. And, I was really overwhelmed. I should have called an attorney and I did not know my rights at that point, that I could still object to the custody situation. I started to increasingly just grow worried and increasingly upset about taking the kids there. And I tried to talk to him about it on multiple occasions. And he just kept saying that this was binding and it was done. And there was, this is what I agreed to. And I did not seek out.
And when was that? When was that, Ishwarya? I'm sorry. When did you have those? So you said he was driving out July 9th, July 11th, and you expressed to him that you're having reservations. Was it that same, I'm sorry, what date was that again that you?
Maybe like July 10th or the 11th, maybe the 12th. Like, I don't know. I can't remember how many days it took him to drive to California from Michigan, but he was in Oklahoma the first time that we talked about it. And then he was in Texas, I think, or New Mexico, and we talked about it. And both times he said, I had to get on, that this was binding, that I had agreed to all of this and that it was too late and he was driving, and it wasn't fair of me to ask for any kind of a change like this at this point. And that was the conversation.
And wasn't there an agreement? I'm sorry, was there an agreement in the judgment of divorce that the consent judgment of divorce that you signed, the agreement, I'll call it because it wasn't entered, that he would be out by a certain day of the home in Lake Leelanau?
Yeah, I think it was July 14th.
Okay, so he was carrying through with his part of the agreement that he needed to be out by the 14th when he left on the 9th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna hit share screen again. Ishwarya, do you recognize this email from July 17th from Andrew to you?
Yes.
Okay. Would you mind reading that on the record, please? I guess I'm going to ask that it be admitted. This is before Ishwarya reminds me. This is going to be pages 5 and it goes on, and 6 and 7. 5, 6, and 7 of Exhibit D, Part 3. Wait, 5. Yeah. Yes, please. That's what I would ask.
No objection.
Admitted.
I'm assuming she's going to say that this is her email and that's his email and that these are.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So Ishwarya, would you mind reading the email from Andrew to you dated July 17th, 2022?
Yes. Aishwarya, thank you for talking earlier today. I want to say a few things. I know this is an extremely difficult time for our entire family. There is no way to get around it. My last week in Leland was the hardest week emotionally of my entire life. I apologize that since I left last Saturday, I have not expressed more concern about how the kids have been doing emotionally. Honestly, I have really needed massive emotional space from what has transpired in our life and our family over the past 1 to 2 years. I do not mean to leave you alone with the kids and their intense emotions. I'm truly sorry the experience has been so hard for you. I will say that I simply cannot live with the anger, resentment, confusion, and chaos that has filled our life for the past 2 years. When you started talking this morning about moving, I began to hear that anger again in your voice, and it makes me feel terrified and miserable. I don't want to specifically say that we should reconsider our plans, but if you feel that carrying out the plans we agreed to in our divorce judgment will lead you to feeling that way toward me, I think we should reconsider. I cannot live like that anymore. I cannot live in the emotional state I lived in for the past 2 years. It is not sustainable. However, assuming we are going to carry out our plans, I would like to communicate about working together to do them. Whether that means me coming back there to help the kids pack, I looked at plane tickets, you and I living together for a while out here, whatever it might be. If we're going to be partners in life, then we need to be partners in life. I just want to say those things. That's all. Love me.
Okay. Okay, and then it looks like the next day, Monday, July 18th, Andrew sent you an email with the heading options for this year. And can you read that to us, please?
Aishwarya, I understand that this is a very difficult time. I am sorry that you feel I have left you there alone with the kids to deal with this. That was not my intention. We can work through this situation together. In fact, we have to work through this together. Here are the options as I see them. Waiting a year to move, kids staying in Michigan. Josephine and Leo each attend LPS's Leland Public School for the coming year. We contact Cranbrook about Josephine going there. Maybe she can. She does that for a year, in which case I assume she'd stay for 4 years. Leo finishes 8th grade at Leland, but then I don't know where he goes to high school. I rent a studio in LA and commute back and forth to Michigan on some regular schedule. Positives: gives us time to settle into things over the coming year, decreases stress of the immediate move, gives you time to arrange your own work and travel plans. Negatives: delays the inevitable. Both kids are unhappy in school in Leland. If Josephine is at Cranbrook, she'd likely stay there, and then we're all split up. Not sure how it sets Leo up for high school. If both Josephine and Leo stay in Leland, it decreases the likelihood of them being accepted into schools out here for 2023, 2024. Splitting up the kids for the coming year. I know you don't want to do this, but it is an option. Josephine moves to Pasadena to attend LaSalle. I rent a house apartment. I think you and I could find a way to sort of switch houses. Like you occasionally come here for a week and I go to Leland. Josephine and Leo both move to Pasadena. Same rental, flying back and forth as above. Positives: gets Josephine and Leo into a better school situation and puts them on track for a good high school experience, allows us to transition without making a full-on move as a family, gives both you and I time to settle our lives over the coming year, saves on the cost of housing for the coming year. It is more financially feasible than all of us moving. Negatives: it splits up the family for a year. This would be hard no matter what it looks like. Everyone moves to Pasadena. All kids move here and attend school as planned. You and I could consider living together to get through the year and save on, I'm not sure what that says.
I don't either. Okay.
Costs. Positives: gets Josephine and Leo into better schooling situations, moves ahead with the plan we agree to. Negatives: might be very hard to execute a full move as a family. Makes it hard for your work situation since your work is currently there. Us living together might be hard for us respectively and the kids overall. More expensive. Take a look, sit on it, let me know what you think. We can work through this. We will get through it together, okay? We've gotten through everything together in our adult lives. We can get through this too. I mean it. Love, Andrew.
Okay. So that was before you had even come out to, that was July 18th. That's before you even flew out to Pasadena with the kids for the move there, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So at that time, Andrew was proposing to you different options again after you had already signed the agreement on June 17th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let's See how many pages this is. Okay, so I am going to, where is it? Okay. Aishwarya, do you recognize this as an email from you to Andrew on Monday, July 25th, 2022? And I'll scroll so you can-
Yes,
And then Andrew, it looks like responded to you.
yes,
And then you responded to him, correct?
correct.
I would ask that this be admitted. It would be pages 8. Oh, no, not 8. I'm sorry, guys. No, it looks like it's just page 8 of Exhibit D, Part 3.
No objection.
Admitted.
Okay, thank you. Aishwarya, this was an email from you to Andrew, and can I is it a safe summary to say that you sent Andrew a number of different options that look like were available to lease in Pasadena, correct? Or Pasadena and Altadena?
Yes, these were for him.
Okay, on July 25th. Okay. And then it looks like Andrew sent back some that he was looking at or that he liked based on that, or maybe he found some other ones. So the two of you were corresponding about possible rentals in Pasadena, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. And again, that was July 25th and 26th.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Ishwarya, do you recognize this? I think this is probably the plane tickets that you were referencing earlier for the trip out to Pasadena in August, but it looks like it's an email from Andrew to you dated August 2nd, where he's saying, I'll buy the plane tickets. And he sends you the itineraries for the plane tickets. Just gonna keep scrolling. And then you responded saying that you bought the tickets. And then you state, I will be returning on Tuesday, August 16th after Josephine's first day at LaSalle.
Correct. And then that was changed before I flew out there.
Okay. Okay, so the timing of changing things were you were, as of August 2nd, you had bought a ticket that you were planning to be in Pasadena through Josephine's first day. Then you switched your ticket to go back early, correct?
I mean, I guess that's what it says here. My memory is that, I mean, obviously that's what happened.
Okay, that's there. So I guess I would ask, Your Honor, that pages 12, 13, 14 of Exhibit D, Part 3 be admitted.
No objection.
Admitted.
Thank you. Aishwarya, do you remember Andrew sending you a proposed itinerary of things going on before the first day of school for each of the kids back on Thursday, August 11th? Like open house information, the fall athletic meeting, the orientation, uniform sale, new parent meeting. Do you remember an email from August 11th in which Andrew sent you kind of that itinerary of things going on?
I don't remember the specific email, but I do remember having knowledge about those activities and events going on.
Okay. And did you attend those events?
I did not.
Okay.
I did attend, I did attend Birdie's orientation at the Montessori school. Josephine had something that I think Andrew went to, and then Leo did not have anything that I can remember missing.
Okay. Okay. Why did you not attend anything of Josephine's?
I think that I wrote to Andrew at that point. If that was August, I don't know what date that email was.
August 11th, and I'll find it. And let's see, I'm going to get to that email. Aishwarya, do you remember being concerned by seeing Josephine's schedule at LaSalle and seeing a girl by the name of Phoebe that was in her class that was going to be in some of her classes, and that concerned you because Phoebe had previously been, I don't know what the exact term, but there had been some dynamic between Phoebe and Josephine in younger years in school.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so I am going to, and you communicated that to Andrew, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let me. So here is the email, Aishwarya. Can you confirm this email is from Andrew to you and it's dated August 11th?
Correct.
It looks like he sent you, the title is School Events for this week.
Correct.
So it looks like Andrew put for the Oak Knoll one, and that's Birdie School, correct?
Yes.
There was Thursday from 6 to 7:30. It was a Montessori 101, and he put in there, I'm not planning to attend due to the LaSalle new parent event. So is that the event maybe you went to?
No, I've already been to the Montessori 101 event at other
Okay.
schools, so I didn't go to that.
Okay. Did you go to the LaSalle at 3 p.m. where it said the dean of students invited me to talk with him about our concerns about Phoebe. We're meeting at this time on campus. You're obviously welcome to come. Did you go to that one?
No.
Okay. But you were invited, correct?
Yeah, I believe this is the day that Andrew was screaming in the car and on the sidewalk, and I didn't want to be around him.
Okay. And then, so you didn't go to the 5:30 fall athletic meeting, nor did you go to the new parent orientation that evening?
Not attend any of those events.
Okay. And then on Friday, you didn't attend those events as well? The new student orientation, well, that probably wouldn't be for you, huh? And then the uniform sale?
I did not attend the uniform sale. I don't
Okay.
think you did either.
Okay, but then on Saturday for Oak Knoll, you think this is the meeting you went to? The new parent meeting?
The new parent meeting that I went to was on, I have actually a photo on my phone of Birdie at the school that morning. And that was on the morning of August 10th. I went to her orientation.
Okay,
And so that Saturday evening was a social event from 6 to 8 p.m. and neither Andrew nor I attended it.
okay. Your Honor, I would ask that page 44 of Exhibit D, Part 3 be admitted.
No objection.
Admitted.
Um, Okay. Okay, Ishwarya, this is the bottom of that page 44, and it goes on to page 45. I'm gonna keep going. 46. Do you recognize this email exchange between you and Andrew?
Yes.
Okay. And we are now on 46. $47. 48. $51. $54. Okay. So I'm asking that pages 44 to 54 be admitted. It's a continual kind of email exchange between Ishwarya Nukala and Andrew Llewellyn.
No objection.
Is this still D part 3?
I'm sorry, D part 3.
That's okay. Thank you.
Right.
I just want to get it
Yeah,
straight and that's
thank you.
admitted.
Okay. So Ishwarya, where this takes off, this kind of is going to start up at the at the bottom, and I know you already touched on this, but it looks like, Andrew sent you the schedule. We went through, you just testified to the things you and Andrew, attended that you were aware of. And then we already talked about this a little too, where you're saying that you feel like the move to LA was a mistake. And Andrew's saying, if you'd like to have a conversation, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, I don't know what to say. And then that's when you wrote the deed is done, you won. And I'm going to change my flight to leave tomorrow. Andrew wrote, I'm sorry you feel that this is a bad situation for the kids. And then it looks like Ishwari, you sent Andrew your new schedule for leaving.
I did not
you
leave
said-
on that day though, yeah.
Okay, on August 11th, and you said, yep, I'll take an Uber if you can't drive me, but I'd like to say goodbye to the kids. And then it looks like Andrew wrote back, okay, I don't know where our kids are going to sleep tomorrow night, but maybe that's not important. And then can you read what you responded with?
I'm sure you will figure it out.
Okay, and then it looks like he wrote back that I'll figure out where to have my children sleep when they can't sleep in the house where I'm obligated to sleep. Do you remember where Andrew was sleeping at that time?
It was pet sitting for our friends, the Yurchaks in Pasadena, and the kids had COVID the week previously. And so the Yurchaks asked that the kids not sleep, even though they had tested negative by this point at their house. So I had them at a hotel while Andrew, I think at this point, he had the house, the new rental house, but we weren't able to, I think we moved into it that day. I can't remember all the details, but we didn't buy, there was no furniture, and he went to Target and bought air mattresses and stuff like that for everybody to sleep on. But I was like in a hotel room with the kids.
Okay.
And on August 11th, I'm pretty sure that's the day where the screaming happened, and I just couldn't talk to him anymore about what was going on.
Okay. But so I guess what I'm seeing here is though that, so what your change of plans impacted the kids sleeping or where they were staying at that time, correct?
It would have potentially, but I didn't leave. So I didn't actually change like that, even though that I did change the flight. I did that online and I did not get on that plane. That's not when I left.
Okay. Okay, and then it looks like everything was up in the air. And so then Andrew wrote to you, or can you confirm if you're paying for the tuition for Josephine and Leo?
Correct.
And can you read your response?
I intend to uphold my end of the divorce settlement, which includes paying the full tuition bills for both Josephine at LaSalle and Leo at High Point for this coming school year.
Okay. And did you pay the full tuition bills for Josephine at LaSalle and Leo at High Point for this year?
I paid Leo's full tuition bill that was due. It's completely paid. And and I paid close to $7,000 in August or September for Josephine's tuition bill. We were on a quarterly payment plan.
Okay.
And I was unable to make the second payment, I think in November, December. I didn't have enough money. And then in the new interim order that Andrew signed, he agreed to pay her full tuition, the remaining balance, which was $20,000 in January. And he did so a couple weeks ago using her college funds and Leo's college funds.
Okay. And how did you end up paying for Leo's last amount owed to High Point?
So I paid, I think I paid roughly $10,000 since January. I paid $4,600 in January, and then I paid another, I think $1,000 or $2,000 in February. I could get the numbers for you. And
What about the last payment?
The last payment, Andrew owed me about $2,800 in child expenses, and he was paid in our joint bank account $7,200. And I withdrew $7,000 and I paid Leo's tuition bill, and then I returned all of the rest of the money that I withdrew because Andrew needed money for his rent and a health insurance payment because he doesn't have any savings. So, but
Okay,
Leo's tuition bill, I'm sorry, the question about Leo's tuition is that it was fully paid.
but that last payment was from pulling money out of an account that was essentially Andrew's account. You pulled 7,000,
My name's on that account. It's my account too.
but it was an account going to Andrew in that judgment of divorce that was signed, correct?
Andrew did not remove my name from the account and he receives direct deposits in it. And so it's still my account.
Does Andrew access your income at this point in time, Aishwarya?
Andrew does not have any name. I do not share any, I do not put any income in any joint account.
Okay, okay. If you were to put money into the joint account, would you expect Andrew to use it? Would you be upset if Andrew used
I
it?
wouldn't be surprised if he used it. He usually needs money.
Okay. So now if we go on, you're saying it looks like it's an email from Andrew to you dated August 11th. Andrew's expressing to you kind of concern about what's going to do with you, what's going to happen with you leaving early because he is house sitting your friend's animals and house through August 13th. And it looks like he says the decision to leave tomorrow is yours, but it affects our children. And he's trying to come up with problem solving. And then can you read your response to that?
Sorry, do we need to enter it? Has this been entered?
This has been entered.
Yes, we entered the whole string.
Sorry, Andrew, I'm not able to help you figure this out. You will need to do so on your own. I've upheld my end of the agreement to deliver the kids to you on time for the school year. I am under no further obligation to help you with this problem.
Okay. Okay, and again, it looks like here that same day, Andrew says he recognizes that you're upset and he's offered to talk to you and you've refused and he's kind of at a loss for what to say, correct?
That's what Andrew writes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Then on Friday, August 12th, Andrew writes you a note. And it looks like it's, an apology note, correct? Did we lose referee Hagan?
Yes, it says I'm the host now.
Melissa,
Oh.
let's change things up here. We could-
Sorry, I'm
we could
taking over.
this. Okay, well, we better give him a minute. He cut out for lunch early.
Did I just go away?
You did, and Melissa was put in charge.
And I was the host.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. This is not the first time that's happened, but I don't know why it happens. I just went away and It said I was disconnected from Zoom, so sorry.
No problem. We stopped. We heard a little ding that something had happened and I think we caught it right away. So we took a little break period.
Thank you.
Are you ready for us to go back on?
Yeah,
now?
I'm right. Yeah,
Okay,
everything
okay,
stayed
okay.
running. I don't, the Zoom box just closed and said you're disconnected, so I don't,
Okay. Okay.
like I
Okay.
said, well, go ahead.
Okay. So, Ishwari, I'm sorry. So we were at this email from Friday, August 12th, and it looks like, it looks to me like it's kind of an apology email from Andrew to you. Kind of apologizing for your dynamics for the last little bit, correct?
Yes, that's an accurate characterization.
Okay. Would you mind reading this to the court?
Sure.
Or if you want me to read it, I will, but
I can read it.
Okay, you read it more lovely than I did. Thank you.
Aishwarya, I want to say that I'm incredibly sorry about the way our relationship has devolved over the past 2 years. I didn't know that such a thing could happen between two people who seemed to be so in love, so committed to each other, and who had overcome so much together. After a second fight in Mike's studio today, it struck me that the past 2 years have been filled with consistent conflict and chaos, one thing after another to fight over. I thought the divorce settlement we reached would end the fighting and chaos. Obviously, I was wrong. I've apologized before, but I want to say again that I'm sorry from the absolute bottom of my heart for all and everything I have done to hurt you to the extent that you view me the way that you do. That you, as you said yesterday, do not care about me anymore. In my view, we agreed to relocate to Pasadena for several reasons. One, yes, so I could pursue my career. Two, because this is a home to our children. 3, because we know and are comfortable with and confident in the education options for our children. 4, it is a place you know and are comfortable with. For a solid 2+ months, you seem similarly confident in this perspective and our decisions. You have even said things like you were looking forward to living in Pasadena for the winter, that there are many positives here, such as High Point and old friends. 2 weeks ago, when I was in Leland, you said you might not even keep the property there. My hope was that we could work together to execute the divorce agreement we made. I understand it's very expensive. That is a known risk. In my opinion, the financial risk we would take with moving here outweighed the many other risks present in a move to a new place such as Birmingham. I still feel that way. Obviously, at this point, you disagree. I understand you are upset about LaSalle. Yes, we did rush into it. I thought we decided to send Josephine there because it's a known quantity and she wanted to go there. I do not want you out of the children's lives. I have never wanted that. The reality of it is breaking my heart. On Saturday, you said I didn't compromise much in our divorce. Perhaps that's true. It's because I've already given up or lost everything. In the past 2 years, I've lost my beautiful, one-of-a-kind, historic dream home in Pasadena near the Rose Bowl, which I worked so hard to buy and provide to my family. I have lost my family of origin, which was the right thing, but nonetheless horrific, given the way they treated you, my children, and myself. I have lost my dream of a life with you in Northern Michigan. I have lost my marriage, you, the love of my life. I have lost our family as I have known it. And finally, I decided to relinquish the money I earned from the sale of my dream home. I'm a 41-year-old man, and I decided to let go of the past and start my life over and the good things I have, my wonderful children, my health and strength, my creative ability, my will and determination. I decided I would let go of the past and do my very best to start anew in a place that makes sense to my children, me and you. And that place is Los Angeles, and that is why we are here. But perhaps this is all too much, mostly as you have said, and I understand, too expensive. But I have and am willing to give it a shot, just like I have throughout our marriage. I'll give it a shot and hope for and work towards the best. but maybe it's all too much. I really don't know. Maybe we should just sell the property and move to Birmingham so that we have more concrete boundaries with each other and can co-parent in a healthy way. I don't know. Or maybe we need to stick to our agreements, get through the year and see what's next. All I can say is I'm sorry for everything. I wish that there was some way I could fix things, but I can't. All I can say is I'm sorry. I want the best for our children. I always have. And despite all of our problems, I still love you, Andrew.
Okay. So it looks like at that time, Andrew's kind of opening up a discussion again, correct, about if Pasadena is not the right move, should we revisit everything? Is that correct?
No, Andrew is saying clearly that this is what's good for him.
Okay.
I'm a 41-year-old man, and this is my wonderful children, my health and strength, my creative ability, my will and determination. I decided me. It says it over and over and over again. And I understand that how it is read to other people, but Andrew's a professional writer. And this letter is written alongside him yelling, screaming, and pushing me. It's after years of abusive anger, and he's clearly discussing what is good for him.
Okay.
He also recognizes the financial disaster that we are walking into by saying it's too expensive, and he wants to give it a shot. We lived in Pasadena for 3 years. We lived in LA for 10 years. We were consistently broke. Constantly. And that's why I wanted to move to Michigan, because I didn't want to live like that. You know, we had cars repossessed and our house almost lost our house and moved around in multiple rentals. And the kids are here in this rental in Pasadena. And it's like, it's just unbending, you know, with him. And I understand that maybe that's not evident from the way he writes because he is a professional writer, but that's what this is.
So Aishwarya, you thought that moving to Northern Michigan would put you in a better financial position. How was that going to put you in a better financial position?
Well, we didn't have a mortgage and our kids went to a public school. And we had a lot more money. Andrew earns a lot of money working remotely. And we discussed, you know, like him having more time and space in Northern Michigan to work creatively on novels and creative writing projects that he really wanted to do. And I, as an interior designer and also as a couple, we had been through a lot. And I thought that if we worked on a big fixer-upper house project, that would bring us together. And we would, you know, like, we would be able to like have a new chapter. That was really what moving to Northern Michigan was about. And our kids went to public school, and it was such a relief to not get emails from the school constantly about overdue tuition bills and worry about, you know, like, how are we going to repair a car or, you know,
Aishwarya, when you first looked at moving to Northern Michigan, was it going to be Leland or was it going to be Traverse City?
We looked together, and we actually, I didn't even know about Leelanau, really. Like, we'd come to Fishtown, and I would say that Andrew and I both really wanted to buy a house that needed some work, because we both felt that by buying a house that had some like repairs that needed to be made, that it would have equity once we did that, and it was a better investment for our money. We had put a lot of cash into the Pasadena house, like probably close to $400,000. And that money was preserved in the house, like it was never spent. And so when we decided to buy a house in Northern Michigan, it was a similar feeling of let's put as much money as we can because it's protected there.
Okay. And did you, but when you and Andrew first looked at Traverse City, didn't you apply to Pathfinder and have the kids admitted to Pathfinder?
Yes, we did. And Pathfinder was $10,000 a year. And High Point, I think, was closer to 20 per kid.
Okay. So you initially were thinking that the kids would attend Pathfinder, correct?
Yes, but then we decided against it.
Okay. Aishwarya, do you recognize this email from Saturday, August 13th? From
Yes.
Andrew to you?
Yes.
I would, oh, I'm sorry, this is this has already been admitted. Do you mind reading this this out loud to the court, please?
Yes. Andrew writes to me, you are right that it might not be advisable for us to have any kind of financial relationship with each other, especially one that we have no proven ability to afford over the coming years. If this is your perspective, maybe we should sit down with Josephine and Leo today and talk to them about how they're feeling. We can ask them if they would like to stay in Leland for the year and then move somewhere next year. I have no idea the impact on them of making this suggestion and potential changes at this point.
Okay, so on Sunday, August 13th, again, Andrew is saying to you, maybe we should talk about moving the kids back to Leland. Is that correct?
Actually, we had talked about moving them to Ann Arbor. And
Okay.
so we talked to them in their bedroom about that.
On August 13th?
I don't know if it was the 13th or the 14th. I think it might have actually been the 14th, which
Okay.
is the day that before Josephine's first day of high school in Pasadena. And it just was, the whole thing was.
Yeah,
So-
that's hard. That would be hard. So then it looks like later that same day, well, still pretty early in the morning. It looks like Andrew sent you an email talking about possibilities of breaking the contracts that you guys had entered into for the schools in Pasadena, correct?
Yes.
And then I see the third paragraph down says, I am open to revising our divorce agreement, even potentially terminating the one we have and starting over. I think a new one would require very different terms that would establish firm financial boundaries and no dependence on one another. And I guess I see the last paragraph saying that he wants to work with you, find an amicable way to work together to get through this coming year. And he'd like to continue to discuss options for reaching longer term resolution, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And again, that was on August 13th.
Correct.
Okay. So you did talk to the kids on right before school started for Josephine, correct? And
Correct.
I think I get the gist of how it went, but can you verbalize for us by by what your general thing, were the kids receptive to moving back to Leland?
Well, we didn't tell them we were moving back to Leland. We didn't say
Okay.
that. We said,
Okay.
how about, why don't we move to Ann Arbor, guys? And Josephine can start at Pioneer High School, which is where Andrew went to high school, and Josephine did a school visit there the previous summer, a spring or winter or something, I can't remember. And Leo would start at a new middle school in Ann Arbor that he had never attended and didn't know anybody. And I, by this point, I'm just totally traumatized by what's going on and Andrew's behavior and this empty rental house where the children are sitting on air mattresses that Andrew bought maybe a day or two previously with, plastic dishes in the kitchen, and just the chaos and abruptness of what is going on. And they just reacted really badly. Leo was crying. He said it was messed up for us to talk to him like this. Josephine was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm supposed to be at school in the morning. It was awful.
Okay.
Just awful. And after that conversation with the kids, I said to Andrew, let's just get them ready for school. I just don't know how else to deal with any of this. And we kind of made up, as we always have in the past. And we all got in his car together, despite how I was feeling and his behavior. And we went to Best Buy and he bought the kids laptops and we got them uniforms and I don't know what else they needed for school. And I think we went to dinner or got dinner. I can't remember. And then that night he drove me to the airport and I got on a red eye and went back to work the next morning so I could pay tuition bills.
Okay, okay. And then what did the fall look like in terms of how you were seeing, how many times did you make it out to Pasadena to see the kids?
I flew back on September 8th. I stayed until September 18th. And we had a okay visit. I stayed at his house. Andrew put my name on his lease. And so, you know, even just based on all the communications we reviewed, it's clear that we couldn't really I could not afford my own place. And this whole thing was really financially hard. So when I flew back on September 8th, I stayed at the house with the kids and we hung out. We took the kids places. We went to the beach. We went out to dinner a couple times. We got coffee. We talked and I was trying to feel okay about things. You know, it had been about a month since I had left. And during the weeks when I was back in Leland, I was really busy with work and I was trying to figure out how to move to California. And I was looking at rentals and, you know, like I contacted previous clients. Like I was really trying to figure it out because I just needed to be near, like, you know, I needed to move there. And that was what was going on. And then I left on the 18th. And I flew back on September 30th. And it was apparent. And then, you know, Andrew had met somebody online and he told me that he immediately, like we picked me up from the airport, we were at a cafe and he immediately started talking about this person, which in the moment, I would say really was okay with me. And then the next day was October 1st. And, you know, he had been like on the phone with this person for hours, yada, yada. And I was like, you know, I said to him, I don't really
Ishwarya, I'm sorry, I guess I'm
Sorry.
gonna go back to, I'm just gonna restate my question. I'm just looking for the how many visits you made to.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I can give you the dates.
Yeah.
So I was there September 8th to the 18th, and then I left, went back to Leland, emailing people, trying to find rentals that I could afford in California,
Okay,
really struggling to do so. Flew back on September 30th.
okay,
And then I left on October 8th. I
okay,
flew back to Pasadena on October 27th. And I stayed until November 16th.
okay,
So, and then I flew with all the kids from LA to Leland on November 16th. I think it was the 16th. And we stayed until November 25th. And then I flew back with them on November 25th. And I didn't have anywhere to stay. So then I turned around and got back on the plane and arrived back in Leland on the 26th.
okay,
And then I flew back there on October 7th.
or I'm sorry, December.
December 7th.
Okay.
And then Andrew agreed to let me bring Birdie back. So I flew back with Birdie, who was 4 years old at the time, on December 11th. And then the kids all joined, the older kids came out on December 19th.
Okay,
And then
they came to
Joseph-
Leland.
they came to Leland for the
Okay.
holidays, which was really fun. And then Josephine, and then we entered a new order on January 11th. of 2023.
Okay.
And then just Josephine flew back on the 11th. And then I flew out there to see Josephine on January 29th. And then I stayed with her out there, and Andrew had flown to Leland to spend time with our younger children. And then I flew back with Josephine to Leland on February 5th because her orthodontist is still in Traverse City. And so she had an orthodontist appointment on February 6th. And then she flew back with Andrew on February 7th. And then I flew out there on February 23rd. I saw Josephine on the 24th. And then I flew back on February 25th. And I have not flown back since the 25th of February.
Okay. And when you flew in on the 23rd, you were going in for work, correct? And so you saw Josephine on the 24th for dinner, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But you flew out to Pasadena or you flew out to the LA area February 23rd. What were you doing out there for work?
I have a couple who have a house in Leland that I did. And they bought a condo in Santa Monica. And I did a decorating project for them there. And I also helped navigate an art purchase for them that was in LA. So I was just there for the day to do that. But those are Leland clients.
Okay. So I'm sorry, just to clarify, so you flew out to Pasadena August 9th, you left on August 15th, or was it the 14th?
It's the 14th.
14th, okay. And then your next trip out there that's when you started the schedule. That was the September 8th.
September 8th to September 18th.
Okay, perfect. Okay, got it. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing a gap where there was a visit between that date and September 8th. Okay. And then did you do work any of the other times that you flew out this past year? Were you able to do work in Pasadena or in the LA area on any other visits out to that area?
I think that in the January visit, I just went to visit the condo that actually, I don't know if I visited the Santa Monica condo because the seller had an immune issue and didn't want anybody there. I think maybe I visited it. No, yeah, I think I visited it for, I don't know, maybe an hour or two.
Okay.
I didn't have any other work out there.
And isn't there like a really cool market for interior designers out there? What is it called? The
Yeah,
Pacific?
it's called the Pacific Design Center. I never went to the Pacific Design Center on any of these visits. I just never had time. And the Pacific Design Center is a huge day of work. And I just was there to see my kids.
Okay. The art that you purchased that weekend of February 20th, or the time period of February 23rd to February 25th. You said you coordinated that. Did you have to bring the art back to the Leland area, or was it a purchase for the Santa Monica home, or what required you to be in LA for that purchase?
Well, I went to the condo to measure, and I also, the reason that it's at a specific gallery, so
Okay.
it's not like.
And the gallery was in LA?
Right.
Okay. So Ishwarya, when you first moved to the Leland area, again, this was what, July of 2020?
Correct.
did you immediately start the work as an interior designer at that time, or tell me your work history since you got to Leland?
Since I got to Leland, sure. I was not really, I wanted to work on the house together, so I didn't really have a job lined up when I moved there. I did substitute teach at the children's school
Okay.
in April of 2021, March, April through the end of the school year. And that was actually really fun. But and then in, I think, October of 2021, after we had agreed we were going to begin collaborative divorce process, I received a call from the realtor who sold us our home in Leland, and he had sold a house, or he was selling a house to a couple from Texas. And the woman had grown up in Pasadena, and they wanted a designer to do the house after they purchased it and flew back to Texas. So I met with them for about 10 or 15 minutes. It's kind of a crazy story. And she handed me a placemat like off the table and was like, "This is my favorite color, blue." And I said, "Okay." And she was like, "Here's the code to the back door." I said, "Okay." And they left and they signed my design contract. And it was like just this incredible dream come true kind of project. I was earning $150 an hour, and I remodeled the house. I did not know anybody in Leland who was in I didn't know any contractors or painters or anything. And so then what I did was I did the house. I gutted it down to the studs and had it remodeled fully. I bought art, furniture, fabric, pillows, rugs, lighting. Every single light fixture was fixed. And then we built a gigantic staircase down a high erosion risk dune that I went through an Eagle permitting process with the township. And they arrived back in June to a house that was 95% completed and furnished. And I did it by myself, and they paid me a huge amount of money.
Okay. So it sounds like it was just I don't know. It sounds
Yeah.
kind of magical the way that all transpired.
Correct.
Everyone was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it was incredibly lucky, and I'm deeply grateful for it.
Okay. And then, so these clients came to you via the realtor that you and Andrew purchased the Lake Leelanau home with, correct?
Correct. And sadly, he passed away suddenly this past fall. His name is John Watkins in Leland.
Okay. And then how did you get, are you still working with those clients? What, can I ask you what those clients' names are?
Yes, Bonnie Mills and Doug Eicher.
Okay. Are you still working with them on projects?
Yes.
Okay. What projects are you working on with them now?
They have a house in Leland, at the house I just described.
Yeah.
And they bought a condo in Santa Monica. And then they also have a very beautiful home in Texas. And they're selling their home in Texas. And so I have just remotely been reorganizing all the furniture that's going to each home. They're selling their Texas house, and they're going to be splitting their time between Santa Monica and Leland. But actually, they bought the Santa Monica place kind of like sight unseen. And when they went to see it after they closed, they decided they don't like it. And they're probably not moving there. And so now I'm working on, it sounds crazy. Like they bought a $7.5 million condo in Santa Monica that they didn't even do a final walkthrough on because the seller had hip surgery and didn't want anybody there.
Wow.
I'm continuing to work on their house in Leland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like big work on the house in Leland, or it sounds like the big work was completed mostly by June of 22?
Yeah, that work is right now what I'm working on is like, they don't like this or that, and I'm fixing this and that. They want to add a hand shower, which requires me to dig into tile and, you know.
Okay, okay. And then, what other clients are you working with right now?
Last October of 2022, I signed a really large remodel in Leland with clients who live on in Leland. And it's a huge, basically gut kitchen, bathroom, built, they have brick masonry walls. So I had to have walls cut and restructure with the structural engineer, various spaces in the home, furniture, etc. That house
Okay.
is still underway.
When do you project that project will be done?
Maybe in like 3 months. It's so behind.
Okay, okay. And what is that client's name?
Malcolm and Chrissy Chatfield, they own Tug Stuff in Leland, which is a local business.
Okay, I'm sorry, did you say Chatfield?
Yes.
Okay. And then, what other projects do you have going on right now?
So I am still working on 9 Bean Rose, which is a bakery in Sutton's Bay, and I'm close friends with Jen Welty, who
Okay.
owns it. And so I helped with the interior architecture for that space when it was built about a year ago. And
Okay.
then we're still kind of slowly plugging away at all the finishes. They had some permitting issues, so we're building out, you know, different things in it. I also have a new project with a vacant lot that was purchased, and I'm going to be building a spec home there that's eco. So it's like a specialized kind of home building project using only non-toxic materials. And that's more of an investment project for the client. And I'm also going to be doing landscaping there. And then this client also has a family home, a farmhouse that needs major remodeling. And so that's going to be a gut project with a huge barn remodel, like rebuild.
Okay. And what is that client?
The house is owned by Ted Wilson, and the vacant lot is owned by, I think, well, it's my friend Charlie, but it's his mom. I think the family trust is buying it, but you could just say Charlie Wilson.
Okay. And Ted Wilson, what's Wilson's relationship to Charlie?
They're brothers.
Okay. Okay. Did you advertise to get these clients, or was this just kind of word of mouth?
I don't have a website.
Okay,
And I don't have any kind of advertising. This is all word of mouth.
okay. Is the spec home in, is that going to be in Leland, or is that going to be in Northport, or?
It's in Northport on Swede Road, which is, it's Leelanau Township.
Okay. And the family home remodel for Ted Wilson is what area is that?
It's on Alpers Road. Actually, it was a house that I used to look at when we lived in California on Alpers Road in
Okay.
Leland. Yeah.
Leland.
It's actually technically Lake Leelanau.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 9 Bean Row, that's Lake Leelanau? Correct?
It's Sutton's Bay.
Sutton's Bay, okay. And then Bonnie Mills and Doug Eicher, their home that you've done so much with, where is that one?
In Leland.
Leland, okay. Any other projects you've got going right now?
Oh, yeah, I forgot one. I have a project in an magic carpet port, which is in Northport. It's on Cathead Bay with Rick and Jane Petty, Petty.
Okay.
And I'm remodeling the interior of their house. That shouldn't start till the fall. And then we're also going to be building a garage and a guest house on that same property.
Okay,
And that's in Northport.
and all of that's gonna start in the fall.
Yes.
Okay.
And that couple, Rick and Jane, was purely referral. too.
Okay, and who were they referred by?
Maggie Milzeric, who I rent a office from her space. And so Maggie is familiar with my work.
Okay. That's impressive. That's great. That's the way, I mean, that's the way business is done, right? It's, people see your work and they like it and that's great that you haven't had to do the advertising and website and everything. So let's talk about the kids' school right now. So right now, when does Birdie finish her pre-K?
She ends at the very end of May. So she ends a little bit earlier than Leo ends on, I think, June 13th. And then Josephine ends school on May 25th in California.
Okay. Right around the corner.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry, Leo is June 13th.
I think so.
So I think we were, though, I'm refreshing my memory right now. So Birdie will start kindergarten in the fall, and your plan is for Birdie to start kindergarten at Leland?
Correct.
Okay. Just like the Leland Public School, the same school that Leo's at.
Correct.
Okay. In your motion, you're requesting that the kids all be in Leland. Where are you proposing that Josephine would start her sophomore year? So she started her freshman year of high school at LaSalle in Pasadena, correct? What do you think is the best outcome for Josephine for sophomore year?
I think Josephine should attend Traverse City West. I know that there are a lot of resources there, and they have band. She loves the band. She's a talented clarinet player, and she's also, she did the track team this fall and just this past spring here in LaSalle. And I just think she would do well at Traverse City.
Okay. Does she have friends at Traverse City West?
I think so. Yeah, there are a couple kids from Leland who go there.
Okay.
I have to say, I talked to Josephine about all this stuff at some point, and she said that she wanted me to homeschool her.
Okay.
Which I thought was incredibly sweet.
Mhm.
But a big responsibility that I don't know if I can handle that. I can't do that if I have a full-time job.
Okay. And Josephine knows those kids at TC West that are from Leland,
Yes.
and she's friends with them.
I don't know how close she is to them. I think they're boys, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
But she also, she would have a say. Like she has a say.
Okay. So Leo is in 8th grade, right? So he'll be a freshman next year.
Yes.
Where do you think he should be next year?
I personally think that Leo would benefit from going to Traverse West too. And I asked him if we could visit it. And he said that he did not want to visit it because he's been through so much. And he feels like he doesn't want to risk having to go to a new school again. And he would like to just go back to Leland, where he feels like, I think, very secure in his friendships. He's running for student council vice president for a freshman year, and he has a speech he's been working on that he's giving next week. And he plays baseball right now with all of his friends, and he has a very, I don't know if you're familiar, but Leland is a very social little fishbowl, and he has his place in it. I still would like for him to see Traverse West and talk with him about it. But I also know he is resistant to making another change.
Okay. Is he on baseball for, is it Leland School or is it through like a league in the
I
area?
think it's a local league and it's like the Leland St. Mary's League, and he plays at Drow Field, or they practice there.
Okay. You would be okay with Leo staying at Leland next year for high school?
I think so. I mean, I would like to supplement with maybe some online like work. I mean, I don't really know what the options are for that. I know that like we could try to supplement with online schoolwork like through Khan Academy or something. Like I do feel like he's kind of coasting a little bit right now. But I also know that he has a lot of emotional things that he's working through with his therapist. And that's important.
Can you clarify what you mean by coasting?
It means that he's like happy and
Is he being challenged?
yes, but I also think it could be like I don't know. I don't know exactly how to describe it other than he just seems really focused on, let me rephrase myself. I would say that Leo is doing some really hard inner work.
Okay. So his right now, his focus is more kind of personal rather than academic.
His priority and my priority right now is Leo's mental health, 100%. Nothing else matters. And he's an active participant in telling me if he's feeling poorly or, you know, if he wants to do something together or if he wants me to, you know, give him some space. He does not like watching his baby sister a ton. And so I have a babysitter for her and you know, that's what I would say.
Okay. Does he miss Josephine?
Yes. Leo's doing well academically, by the way, just to have that on the record. He's getting A's.
Okay. But I'm sorry, he does miss Josephine.
Of course, yes. And I'm sure that she misses him. I mean, they're both teenagers and it's the sibling thing, but yes, absolutely. When she was here for spring break, they spent a lot of time together. And then in the evenings, it was kind of like their own darling little, like, you know, 15 months apart siblings, like upstairs, listening to music, hanging out. And it was hard to tell him that he had to go to bed because he had school the next morning.
Yeah. And he misses his dad.
Of course.
So, would you agree that it's in the best interest of the kids for everyone to be in the same proximity to be able to exercise parenting time and visits and seeing one another? And
Absolutely.
okay.
All right, on that note, we'll break for lunch.